I got tired of wasting time copying and pasting keyword data into Google Sheets. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So I built a plugin that does the mundane work for me. It's called Clipboard to Webhook, and it speeds up my keyword research by at least 5x. I'm using it alongside Keywords Anywhere and Make.com to create a keyword research workflow that is second to none. Right now, I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to set up this keyword research turbo system yourself. All right, so first I want to show you the manual process that I was doing that I've replaced and made it a lot faster. So this is a Google search I've done for plumber. We're going to do plumbing keywords because it's pretty generic. And we're going to look for keywords with our Keyword Anywhere Chrome plugin. So here's the Chrome plugin. It automatically looks at the search I made and gives me people also searched for topical keywords, SERP keywords, related keywords, and long tail keywords. So there's these different categories of keywords it gives me right in my browser. And quite honestly, this is my preferred method of using Keywords Anywhere because I'll find another keyword and I'll search it and I'll see what's there too. You can go to their interface and crank out like 1,000 keywords, but I've found that that's typically more than I need. And once you get 1,000 keywords based on something like plumbing, you start getting things that aren't related to plumbing at all. But here's my old way of doing this. So I'd make a search, I'd come here, I'd click the copy. The other option is you could export it and save it, but that takes even longer. So I'm clicking copy to my clipboard. I'm going over here to my Google Sheet. I'm going to paste that in. And I really only want these 3 columns here. So, I mean, really I could delete these columns later, but I still have to do cleanup. By default, the first column is keyword, is the headers that starts with keywords. So now I have to delete that row. And now I have this problem, like all of these are numbers, but when you get into the millions, it does like 1.5 mil, and that's not a number. So now I need to fix that and add 500,000. I think that's 1.5 million. So that's one box. And then I go back and do it again. I'm going to show you how this works with the plugin that I've told you about. Okay, so the plugin I told you about is right up here. It's this red plugin, and all I have to do is click it to send the data on my clipboard over through Make into this Google Sheet. And I'm going to show you how well it does that. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to click this link. And what's happening now is the data is being sent to a webhook and Make, and I have a ChatGPT module that we're going to look at. I'm going to give you the prompt and everything for this. It is cleaning the data, because one of the problems with the data when you copy it and paste it is when there's no results or no data, historical data in this copy data, it doesn't output the columns for that row. And when you just try to run this through a regular Make CSV module, it chokes because it says, hey, you've got the wrong number of columns in some of these rows. So it just doesn't work. So I'm actually cleaning it with ChatGPT, which is doing a really good job of that. And we're just waiting for this to come back. This really doesn't take too long. Once it spits that out, it's going to write these into this Google Sheet pretty quick. And there they come. All right, so you can see, first of all, my keyword header row is gone. It's not there because I filtered it out in my automation. The other thing is you can see the 1.5 mil was turned into 1.5 million. And then if we go over here, you can see I only have the 3 rows that I want. I want the search volume, the competition score, and the cost per click value. This is like an auction value for this particular keyword. And that's all I had to do. I clicked copy right here. I clicked copy. I clicked the plugin icon, and then I just go down to the next one and do that. Copy, icon, copy, icon, copy, icon. So now in the queue are those different runs, and it's going to separate those out and add them. See, there's another group coming into my spreadsheet right there. So it's pretty easy. Are there duplicates in this data? Yes, there are, but you can easily do that in one fell swoop at the end using the deduplicate feature in Google Sheets. So those clicks that I just did are going to keep processing and coming in here. Now, you may be wondering, what is this wizardry? Show me how this works. All right, we're going to do that next. So we're going to talk about how this works. So first of all, I am using the Keywords Anywhere Chrome extension, which does require a subscription to Keywords Anywhere. If we jump over here to their pricing page, you can see compared to like a SEMrush, which I have used before, they're much less expensive, and quite honestly, it's easier to get the data out, and it's all the data I need for doing keyword research. So you can see here we've got the silver plan, which is 400,000 credits a year. It's $72 a year compared to like $97 or more with, I think, SEMrush is what their subscription was. I kept clicking add-ons and trying things, and I ended up spending like $150 one month, and thankfully they gave me a refund and turn those off. But it can get spendy real fast when you use the high-end professional tools. The other option is, if you scroll down here, this is kind of hidden on purpose. Check out our bronze plan right here. So there's a $27 a year plan that you can try. It's just for one seat. You can play around with it and do that. I think I'm on this silver plan just because I do use this quite a bit in the work I do. All right, so here is the home page on the Chrome Web Store for the plugin. It's called Clipboard to Webhook by Weblytica. It's got that red icon there. All you need to do is click over here and it'll say add to Chrome. Mine's already installed is why. And so we're going to install that, and then we're going to look at the configuration for that. So once it's installed, and you may need to click your puzzle piece here, go down and pin it to your toolbar here. See, mine is pinned here. I can click it and it'll disappear, or I click it and it appears. So when you do that the first time, it's going to be over here on the right. What I did is I actually synced it up and put it right above the copy button in Keywords Everywhere. So I just click here and went up, and click here and went up. It didn't look like that in the split screen that I did earlier, but when I'm doing it full screen, that's how I'm doing it. So we're going to move it over here, and I'm going to right click and say options. And so I've got some webhooks in here already. The way this works is you can enter in a title for it, give it a name. You can also give it a webhook, obviously, and then you can give it 2 destination keys. And I did that because we're going to map this to a Google Sheet. So I wanted it to be really easy to switch from one Google Sheet tab to another Google Sheet tab, or to a completely different Google Sheet. And if you can see here, I've got this drop down where I have Start Automating Keywords, which is the website I'm working on, or Plumbing Keywords, which I created for this. And that matches the title and the webhooks and the information down here. So let's go look at the scenario that runs this. Believe it or not, it's 4 long. That's it. This is the entire scenario that can save you tons of time doing keyword research. And the reason I built this, I don't know if I said this earlier very well, I started doing keyword research for this new site I'm building. I want to build out some very specific blogs with very tight keyword groupings. And I started doing the research that I was showing you earlier, and I was like, okay, this is taking me too long. My life's too short to do it this way. So I actually stopped doing the keyword research, built the Chrome extension, and then started using it to do the keyword research. I've since enhanced the plugin to have the different connections, and also submitted it to the Chrome store. So it's been a busy week. What we do here is we're going to go right over here. We're going to say copy address clipboard. And I'm just going to go over here to my connections I have, and I'm just going to delete both of those. We're just going to start over with like it's new for your account. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click, and we want to give this a connection name. All right, so our next field here is we're going to paste that webhook in there. So here's the Google Sheet I want to use, and I'm going to highlight the key. So it's after the D/ and before the /edit. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back over here to my settings, and I'm going to put that into destination key 1. And then my destination key 2 is going to be my sheet name. So I'm going to just double click that and copy it and put that in here. And I'm going to hit add update connection. It's really easy to add these. Now you can see that has created a drop down up here. So it's really easy to if you're going from project to project, you can switch your destination really easily in that drop down, and you can set up multiple destinations down here. Now let me show you something. Let's say I want to send data to this sheet 1 right here. What I can do is I can say copy to form. Now I've copied all the information from this line, and I can edit it if you want to Just a note here, when you change the title and hit update or add, it's going to add a new one. So if you keep the title the same, it will just overwrite your existing one or change the title to create a new item. So I'm going to say keywords everywhere, start automating site. All right. And then I want to put these in sheet 1. So when I click update, now you see I have 2 items down here at the bottom. One going to sheet 1 and one to sheet 2. And I have 2 items in my drop down. I'm going to put this back on our keywords everywhere to G Sheets option. And then let's go over here to our make scenario. So we've got our webhook set up. That's all good. The way this data comes in is we have content. So this is the text that comes in that's copied to the clipboard. So here's all the rows of data. Here's the header row that I wanted to get rid of, and here's all the information. Down here we have destination key 1 and destination key 2. So now we can map that dynamically based on the drop down in our plugin settings. So we're going to go right over here, and I'm not going to read word for word this prompt, but I'll give you I'll point out some things about it. So the data coming over from that button where you copy and send it through here is tab separated data. It's not CSV comma separated data. So we need to kind of pull that apart and just get the results, the data columns that we want. The other thing that's a little hinky about this is most of the rows have 16 columns, some do not. So that's why I didn't run this through a CSV module in Make. So I'm just saying if the line has fewer than 16 columns, treat it as a truncated data. And then I'm wanting the search term, the search volume, and the competition score, which is what we put over in our Google Sheet. Now, if you're not familiar with Make, you're just getting started, you can click here to get a free month of Make to follow along and build this with me. And the other thing is, I haven't introduced myself. My name's Andy, and if we haven't met, I help entrepreneurs like you add time-saving automation to their business. I believe that you are the hero of your story, and I am a guide to help you along the way to the next peak of your journey. All right, so now the other thing I'm going to say is for each line, I want to validate the format. This is typical stuff. Right down here is where I say, get rid of the mil and multiply it by 1,000,000 to get a million's numerical value. From what I can tell, that only happens with millions. I haven't run into billions. Probably don't want that keyword anyway. And then I want to output the search term, keyword, search volume, competition score. So this is just an example JSON. Don't be afraid of this. You can just copy and paste it into your prompt. And then a few more things here just to explain what's going on. And then here is the content right here that I've mapped from the webhook. So what that is going to do is output JSON data right here. So you can see the JSON structure. And then right here, we're going to use the parse JSON module. And what that does, this is a single bundle, and we need to turn this into multiple bundles. So when we parse that JSON, we get 9 bundles from this particular run. And so we have the search term, search volume, cost per click, and competition score. So those are the 4 columns that I want in my spreadsheet. So we've got 9 bundles now. So we're going to add this. The way this is mapped, sorry, I just mapped the result from right there, from the ChatGPT. So nothing fancy in here, just map the result, which is JSON, gets parsed out. All right, so next we're putting this in here. Now, here is where our destination key 1 and 2 really come in handy. So right here is our spreadsheet ID. That comes from destination key 1, and then we're putting our sheet name in here from destination key number 2. Then we're simply mapping those 4 values into our Google Sheet, and we're going to save that. So let's run this. Let's go copy some data over into our extension, and then let's watch this run and we'll look at the results of it. All right, so I'm over here on a Google page. I'm going to put in my next keyword. I created some core keywords in ChatGPT, and that's going to be plumbing repair. So I'm going to zoom down here to our first box. And right here, people also searched for. So plumbing repair gets 22,200 searches a month. Cost per click is 6.25, so that's pretty high. I'm going to copy. See right here, I've got this right above it. Actually, I'm going to move it exactly above it, right there. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste, copy, paste. All right, so I'm going to watch this run through again. This is our data, all of our content. We paste it in here, destination key 1, 2, and the timestamp, which we don't use. This ChatGPT step is, again, it's really critical because there's just rows missing, which is unfortunate. The keywords anywhere people are watching this, it'd be nice if those rows were complete. This process would have been a little easier. The prompt, again, massages that data, gets rid of the stuff I don't want, gets rid of the headings I don't want, and outputs it into our Google Sheet. So that's the process. Pretty straightforward, but it's a huge time saver. And if you're doing a significant amount of keyword research, this is probably worth setting up. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment below if you have some ideas for how to use this Clipboard to Webhook extension. I would love to hear them, and I'll build them and create a video about those ideas. I appreciate you watching this tutorial. I will see you next time, and thanks for watching.